So I wanted to do a little whipping today, so I'm going to go out and kind of demonstrate some cracks and just kind of hang out in the backyard for a little while. It's pretty cold outside, so like I said, I'm not going super far today. I would like to reiterate that I'm an amateur whip cracker. My technique is not perfect. I mostly just do it enough for me to have fun, do little combos, do some wraps and throws and that kind of thing. So, I haven't practiced a lot this winter. It's mostly a summertime thing for me, so bear with me. But I love whip cracking. It's been a very great hobby for me, and I'm lucky enough to be able to do it in my own backyard. So I hope you guys enjoy. Again, this is not going to be super duper like concise. It's not really to teach anybody. It's just to kind of show people what I'm into today. All right, hope you enjoy. Okay, so notice I'm in my backyard today. It's a beautiful day. Um, so again, as my intro said, I don't really have a lot to teach. I just kind of wanted to go over a few things to kind of show everybody what I'm about today. So let's start with the most kind of basic fundamental thing about whip cracking. You are going to get hurt. Um, that's a fact. The first day that I went out with a whip, I did 2 whips. I didn't crack anything. I had to immediately drive to Ace and get safety glasses. So it takes a while to learn sort of where your body is in relation to the whip and avoid getting hit. So that's number one. When you start this hobby, prepare yourself for that. The other thing I think is really important to say from the gate is that whipping does not require a ton of physical strength. It's mostly about technique, and even somebody with low physical strength can easily become a really good whip cracker as long as you take the time to learn the proper technique. Let's start from the beginning. The first crack that anybody who's starting whipping learns is called the cattleman's crack or the circus crack. This is very, very basic. Um, Comes down to you being on a 90-degree plane, up and down. So again, whipping is, in my experience, is mostly about just being aware of your planes. People get hurt when they start kind of like wavering that and jerking and but as long as you keep a smooth plane, you'll be okay. Up, down. Again, not a lot of strength involved. Up. Ooh, that was a bad one. She hit my leg on that one. I scoot in a little bit. So up, down. The second crack most people learn is the overhead crack. The overhead crack is exactly the same as the cattleman's crack, except for instead of a 90-degree plane, you're doing a horizontal plane over your head, 180 degrees. So this one is a little bit harder to get used to, but it is a lot louder and it's a very fun crack. So over. It's nothing more than a cattleman's crack except for over your head. Another crack that I really like are the flicks. Okay, flicks took a long time for me to learn. Let's start with the sidearm flick. Right? So you can see I start with the whip behind me, and I just kind of, look at that. The motion is kind of like throwing a frisbee. It's all about that follow through. So, there we go. There's also the underhand flick, which is instead of throwing like lateral to the side, it's just underneath. Okay, that's an easy combination to make. You can do like an underhand flick, and then you can do a cattleman's crack to complete the combination. See? Another really fun combination is to go from a sidearm flick into a overhead crack. Sorry. To a reverse overhead crack, if you like. What I just did there was a reverse overhead crack. So typical overhead crack goes from right to left, and reverse goes from left to right. With a whip this long, I got to kind of prepare. Make little combos that way. You'll notice that mostly avoiding getting hit is about follow through. At this point, I sort of do it without thinking, but it's always about these large motions. It's never anything jerky. As soon as you start jerking, like, look at this, just a tiny amount of like jerk flips the whole whip. Okay, so it's all about these big sweeping motions that keeps yourself safe. I'm thinking for a sidearm flick, all the way around the back of my head. If you try to stop it somehow, see, you're all messed up. So it's all about these big motions. You can really kind of see where you are compared to the whip. So I've been learning over the last year or so to switch to left hand. It's not easy at all, as you can imagine. So let's start with a left hand cattleman crack. Let's try a left hand sidearm flick. Yeah, that's bad. I can tell. Like, I almost hit myself. Switch it over. The crack that I just did was actually a reverse cattleman's crack. So here's a cattleman's crack. And then if you want to do reverse, you simply start opposite. So the whip in front of you, crack behind you. Let's try a quick combo. So we'll do an underhand flick to a cattleman's crack to an overhead crack. Yeah. Turn from the side a little bit. I want to show a little bit about kind of the idea again that it's not about force. Looking at it laterally, you'll be able to see that I'm not really moving my body or my arm actually that hard. So you can kind of see the technique is more important. You'll notice with the cattleman's crack that it's all about timing. What I'm doing is I'm waiting for the fall to get behind me, almost touch the ground before I go forward. So, right now, right? All about timing. Right now. Okay. Look at the sidearm flick. Again, really no strength required. I'm not powering through, just about technique. Let's do the underhand flick. Again, nothing more than the sidearm flick, but on a vertical plane. It's the exact same motion. That one, oh shit. Sinking. Anyway. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Yeah, I highly recommend anybody who's interested to get into the hobby. It's not that expensive to get into. Buying a paracord whip from a reputable seller is nothing crazy. You can get away for $100, $150. It's a good way to get some exercise. And I highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun. All right. Thanks for watching. Talk to you next time.